It is a beautiful morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome on board to Carnival Breakfast Show, coming to you from Carnival Radio. And this is Newspaper Review. Hi, I'm Joseph Oyo. This morning, I came with different interesting newspapers with interesting stories. I have Punch with me, I have Vanguard newspaper, I have the Post, and I have the Nation newspaper. And of course, you know how we used to do it on this program. Before we begin the news details, here are the headlines. Let's not forget, Daily Trust is also here. My name is Joseph Hoyokola. Welcome once again. Polytechnic Ibadan. Makinde under fire as stakeholders hold views over name change. This news was sourced from the Punch newspaper. Moving to another news, INEC prepares new result review guide ahead of polls. CSO fingers political enemies as Wiki dismisses land scandal. Two children drown in Niger flood. (2027) crossfire. APC strikes back after Mark Lamido slammed Tinubu government. Now to the news details. As the coalition meant to oust President Bola Tinubu from power gains momentum, the All Progressives Congress has asserted that the president will emerge victorious in the 2027 election. APC spokesman Bala Ibrahim described the coalition, whose leaders met in Abuja on Tuesday, as dead on arrival. Multiple sources within the coalition movement review their plans to adopt the African Democratic Congress as their political platform, confirming to the newsmen. This is as former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, ex-Senate President David Mark, former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, and other figures within the People's Democratic Party labeled the ruling APC a disaster to the nation. A statement signed by David Mark called on party members and Nigerians at large to support the emerging coalition aimed at defeating the APC at the 2027 presidential election. In addition to Atiku and Lamido, other PDP stewards present at the meeting include former PDP National Chairman Uche Secondus, former Governors Aminu Tambuwa of Sokoto State, Lydia Imoke of Cross River State, Babangida Haliyu from Niger State, and Dr. Sami Hegu from Emboy State. This news was sourced from the Punch newspaper. For more details on this story, please read further on the Punch newspaper. 2027 crossfire. APC strikes back after Mark Lamido slammed Tinubu government. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission is planning to issue a supplementary document to its 2022 regulations and guidelines to clarify procedures for reviewing election results, particularly under Section 65 of the Electoral Act. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, disclosed this at the second quarterly consultative meeting with the resident electoral commissioners in Abuja on Tuesday. The commission is preparing for a packed electoral calendar, including 5 major elections within the next 30 months. These include by-election in 12 states on August 16, 2025, the Anambra State governorship election on November 8, 2025, area council elections in the FCT on February 21, 2026, the Ekiti governorship election on June 20, 2026, and the Oyo State governorship election on August 8, 2026. Yakubu stresses that as we approach the by-election, the half-cycle governorship elections, and ultimately the 2027 general election, the Commission is concerned with the various interpretations given to the provision of Section 65 of the Electoral Act 2022 on the review of election results. Leading further, the INEC chairman also called on RECs to regard their duties as ongoing responsibilities rather than activities limited to general elections. Yakubu emphasized the need for consistent commitment at the state level, noting that the success of Nigeria's elections depends on the year-round effort. This news was sourced from the Vanguard newspaper. For more details on this story, please read further on Vanguard newspaper. INEC prepares new results review guide ahead of polls. In the meantime, a civil society organization, the Center for Democratic Integrity and Leadership, has accused political enemies of orchestrating a smear campaign against the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, where fresh allegations of illegal land allocations to his children. The group's position follows Wike's latest denial of claims linking him to controversial land deals which he described as baseless and politically motivated attempts to derail his reforms in Abuja. In a statement issued on Tuesday by Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media, Larry Olayinka, the minister dismissed the allegations as baseless and mischievous. Newsman recalls that the minister had earlier denied reports stating that he had allocated 2,082 acres of land in Maitama and Asokoro to his son through a farming company, Johak Farms and Estates Limited, responding to allegations of another purported allocation of lands to another son. Olayinka accused unnamed political actors of orchestrating a smear campaign against the minister, adding that such efforts would not derail Wike's ongoing developmental initiatives under the renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. More details of the story, please read further on the Punch newspaper. CSO fingers political enemies as Wike dismisses land scandal. In another news, the corpses of 2 children, a boy and a 9-year-old girl, were discovered in a drainage after a heavy rainfall that broke out in Minna, Niger State on Tuesday. Initially, residents of the Tunga community in the state's capital had thought that the flood carried only the girl whose parents are said to hail from Oyo State, until the girl's father was contacted to identify his daughter and discovered that a young male child was also killed in the rain floods. Newsmen learned that the girl, who was the only daughter among 3 children of her parents, was sent to the Tunga market, about 2 kilometers from their residence, to purchase some soup ingredients. She was accompanied by her elder brother, an 11-year-old boy. They went with an umbrella since the rain had been falling from the early morning's hours, although not heavily. At the time they left the house, the rain had paused momentarily, but there were still signs that the rain could come down heavily. While they were on their way, the rains came down heavily and in torrents. Almost immediately, it flooded all the drainage and roads in Tuga, making it impossible for motorists to move. They had to park and wait for the rains to subside and floods to recede. Newsmen further learned that as both children were returning from the market, the girl may have slipped and fallen into the drainage. It was learned that as the flood was carrying her away, her brother was shouting to residents in the neighborhood to help him rescue his sister, who was being swept away by the flood. People could not help due to the level of the water had reached and the force it carried. They watched helplessly as the water carried the little girl. The water kept carrying the girl while the brother went back to their residence to inform their parents about the tragedy. The father of the girl was later contacted to identify his daughter's corpse at a tunnel on Mandela Street, more than 5 kilometers from where the flood carried her. And when he got there, he found the corpse of the little girl and that of another boy who was also killed by the flood. For more details on this story, please read further from the Nation newspaper. 2 children drowned in Niger flood. On to the last news on newspaper review this morning. Students and alumni organizations, notable personalities, and other stakeholders have expressed divergent views over the plans by Governor Oyo Makinde of Oyo State to rename the Polytechnic Ibadan after a former governor of the state, Dr. Victor Oluloloyo. Oluloloyo was the first Ibadan indigene to serve as the governor of Oyo State. He served as governor between October 1 and December 31st in 1983. Newsmen gathered that Oluloloyo, who died on April 6, 2025, was a pioneer principal of the institution. The former governor was a notable mathematician. In order to honor him, Makinde announced his plans to rename the institution as Victor Oluloloyo Polytechnic Ibadan. Makinde said that Oluloloyo lived an eventful life and that his attainment and personality could not be summarized in one sentence. Meanwhile, students and alumni of the institution, notable personalities and other stakeholders have kicked against the action of the governor. They advised the governor to resign his decision. For more details on the story, please read from the Vanguard newspaper. Polytechnic Ibadan, Makinde under fire as stakeholders hold views over name change. To bring the newspaper review to a close, this beautiful morning, here is the recap of the headlines. 2027 crossfire. APC strikes back after Mark Lamido slammed Tinubu government. 2 children drowned in Niger flood. CSO fingers political enemies as Wike dismisses land scandal. INEC prepares new results review guide ahead of polls. Polytechnic Ibadan, Makinde under fire as stakeholders hold views over name change. And with that, we've come to the end of the newspaper review. Thank you very much for listening. You can download Carnival Media from Google Play Store and App iOS. You can also check out our website at www.carnivalmedia.ng if you want to, relate your reactions on the story read. Please, you can send them to our Gmail at carnivalmedia@gmail.com. The next time I will be coming your way, Harimi may harm himself. You collide as if enjoy. Good morning, and please do well to enjoy the rest of your day. And do not forget why you are doing exactly the work you're doing. Please make sure you make every minute of your life count. Cheers.